Thank you and Chag Sameach to everyone watching. Happy 74th birthday to Israel. I'm Joel Chasnoff, and right now we are at that magical transition point between Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut. It can be difficult to suddenly shift from such sadness, grief, and tragedy into happiness, joy, and celebration. But in Israel, this is precisely the point. The understanding and mourning of our loss allow us to appreciate what the sacrifice was for and enables us to be grateful for our Israel. We see that our soldiers' efforts can save and change lives, as Or Ben Yehuda displayed in her heroic actions seen in this video.
In 1973, Egypt and Syria launched a massive surprise attack on Israel on the holiest of days, Yom Kippur.
When the war started, I was 20 years old. I was the commander of the Brigade 14, women soldiers, which was a tank unit. We were located in the second line of the Suez Canal. After a few hours of war, the Egyptians came and most of my unit tanks were destroyed with many soldiers killed and wounded. Many of the soldiers were burnt. After the war, every city had an officer to go to the families. These families were very angry. They didn't want to see anybody from the army. Coming as a woman, at that days, we weren't fighters like today, and so they allowed me to come and to talk. I started to go to the families of the wounded soldiers, then I went to the families that we knew that the son was killed, and then I went to each and every family of the missing in action soldiers.
Because of Dina's actions, creating a new role in the IDF, coordinating treatment of casualties, earned Dina the highest decoration of the Chief of Staff Citation. Today, Dina's daughter Or serves as a major in the mixed-gender Caracal battalion that guards the Israel and Egypt border.
Almost every day, smugglers trying to pass the border. We never know what they're trying to pass. It can be drugs, but it can be also weapons. Our mission is to stop them.
In 2014, under Or's command, her lookout soldier alerted her with a situation of 3 jeeps full of men with bags in Egypt speeding towards the border.
I told my driver and my radio man to get into the car and to drive as fast as we can. We arrived to the spot. We were 3 of us, and at the other side was something like 25 people. All of them was with guns. They started to shoot over us, so I tried to fire back.
Or and her 2 soldiers took on 23 armed terrorists in the battle.
It was a crazy situation. After something like 5 minutes, the area was quiet. Some of them killed, some of them was wounded.
Moments later, the men shot at the soldiers from another area with machine guns and an RPG.
The radio man looked at me and told me that he got wounded. I crawled to him under fire and I pushed him to a safe place. And when I put out his vest, I've done like this with my hand, and then my hand just flew away. I felt like it was a rock or something that hit me, but I saw that I was wounded too, and all my hand was covered with blood.
Within a couple of minutes, several Israeli forces came and helped end the situation. And they took Or and her radio man to the hospital by helicopter. After 2 difficult months of rehab, Or rejoined her battalion, and then IDF officer Dina Ben Yehuda proudly presented her daughter, Or, with the Chief of Staff's citation, 40 years after she received it.
I always heard about Grandpa and Grandma from you and Dad and your service in the Army and what you've done in Yom Kippurim War. Now, when I am a soldier and I'm a commander in the Army and I have children, I understand what you've done and how important it was. I'm very proud of you.
I'm very blessed to have a child like you. When I was in the army, in the Yom Kippur War, I always wished I could have done what you did. Save the life of the soldiers that I served with. And I'm very proud that when you had the chance to do it, you did it.
It is truly empowering to see such courageous acts and placing the lives of fellow soldiers as the highest priority. And it especially is impactful to see this done by both mother and daughter alike. There is never a moment in one's life where courage is not needed. Each of us pushes past our fears and obstacles that may be stopping us from doing what we want or from helping others. Courage is truly the one value that unites us, whatever our circumstances are. With that, it is now my great pleasure to invite the amazing IDF Ensemble for an exciting Yom HaAtzmaut performance that will have you up and on your feet, open your cameras, and dance so that we can see you joining us on the screens.
Sounds that comes my way, and from the star that shines above, and from the wind that sings a song, and from the friend who walks along to wish you nothing will go wrong. La 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 Come with us, come with us, come with us to the sea, to the thrilling and wild open waters.
השמש הזאת, לרוחות הזאת, כי הים לכולנו בטוח.
אלינו, אלינו, אלינו לים, אל הים המרהיב ברוח.
When it will open up above my head, I won't be scared, won't be afraid. אני לבד והמצנח, שיפתח, שיפתח, שיפתח עליי, עליי.
המחנה נדלק ירח, על המעל כוכב זורח, והזמן כמו גומי מתמרח, ליל שבת בלי טעם ובלי ריח, והשקט את הלב קורע. איזו מין שלווה, ולא עושים שום דבר. איזו מין שלווה, ועוד שבוע עבר. מחר אולי נפליג בספינות מחוף אילת עד חוף שנהר, ועל המשחטות ישנות יטעינו
Thank you to the IDF Ensemble. And now for our next song, we want you at home up and singing along. We're pretty sure you know the words. This one is called Kan Noladati.
כאן ביתי פה אני נולדתי במישור אשר על שפת הים כאן החברים איתם גדלתי ואין לי שום מקום אחר בעולם אין לי שום מקום אחר בעולם
Tell me the storm is gone forever. Tell me there's no thundering tonight. Tell me I can leave my door wide open.
Come my friend, I welcome you inside.
Come my friend, I welcome you inside.
כאן נולדתי, כאן נולדו לי ילדיי, כאן בניתי את ביתי בשתי ידיי, כאן גם אתה איתי וכאן כל אלף ידידיי, בשנים 2000 סופלים דודיי.
כאן את כל שיריי אני ניגנתי והלכתי במסע לילי.
כאן בנעוריי אני הגנתי על חלקת האלוהים שלי.
על חלקת האלוהים שלי.
Come along, my friend, come along and hold my hand. Love is all we need today to understand. Come, there's a chance today to make a move to change our ways. Let our hearts unite together, let's sing and pray. Come and say you'll stay by me tomorrow. Tell me that you'll need me by your side. Tell me there will be no pain and sorrow, and everything is gonna be alright. Yeah, everything is gonna be alright. כאן נולדתי, כאן נולדו לי ילדיי, כאן בניתי את ביתי בשתי ידיי, כאן גם אתה איתי וכאן כל אלף ידידיי, בשנים 2000 סופרים דודיי, כאן גם אתה איתי וכאן כל אלף ידידיי, ואחרי שנים 2000, אחרי שנים 2000, come along my friend, come along and hold my hand. Love is all we need today to understand. Come, there's a chance today to make a move to change our ways. Our hearts unite together, let's sing and pray. Come, there's a chance today to make a move to change our ways. Our hearts unite together. Let's sing and pray.
Thank you to the IDF Ensemble for that incredible performance. The IDF soldiers are on call 24/7 to protect and defend the state of Israel. No IDF soldier would ever call him or herself courageous. That's because such behavior becomes intuitive and obvious, a part of who they are, simply how one behaves. That's their job. Well, every Independence Day, the President's Excellency Award is given to 120 soldiers who prove themselves every day to be courageous and are an example for other soldiers, a source of inspiration. Today we have with us 3 soldiers who received the President's Excellence Award, Yuzhang, Bianca, and Eden. It is an honor to have you here with us today. And Sergeant Yuzhang, we'll start with you. You are a field intelligence observer. Tell us exactly what it is that you do.
My job is to monitor and to look after some suspicious movements that can pose a threat in my area. And then I inform the information to the soldiers on the ground, and I direct them to the threat, and then they know what to do.
Sergeant Yuzhang, tell us a little bit about your background and upbringing.
I'm 20 years old. I was born here, but my parents are from Korea. They came here like before 22 years, like something like that.
And you were raised in Jerusalem.
Yes, all my life in Jerusalem. And also I have one brother older than me. He is also in the IDF right now.
I didn't realize you had a brother in the IDF as well. Tell us, where is he serving?
He is serving in the Air Force. He's a commander, and I'm really proud of him.
Well, we're proud of you both as well, and congratulations on the award. And speaking of Air Force, we're going to move to Bianca. You are a soldier in the Air Force. Tell us a little bit about your job.
I serve in the Patriot unit. We work in close connection with the Iron Dome. I am a commander of 14 soldiers, and I'm in charge of their day-to-day schedules and any personal needs that they might have. And apart from that, I'm also a combat soldier myself, so I do have other responsibilities and shifts that I do when I'm not with my soldiers.
What is that like, the sense of responsibility that not just 14 soldiers, but 14 people whose lives are in your hands? What does that mean to you?
It could be very stressful sometimes. It's a lot of pressure, but if you handle situations correctly and you think open-mindedly, then it becomes a lot easier, but it's still a very big responsibility.
Now, you were originally from Cape Town, South Africa. You moved here, I think, in 2017, and were a lone soldier. And then what happened next?
Yes, so I moved here. I went to high school. I finished high school drafted to the Army. My mother decided that she'd like to join me while I'm in my service to support me a little closer rather than further.
And I'm sure she'd be very proud of you on this award today. So thank you so much for joining us. And now on to Eden. Eden is a soldier in Battalion 611, which is an artillery battalion, and she actually is a soldier that we met before when we filmed a segment with FIDF Live. Let's watch that clip and then go back to Eden. This unit worked 24/7 in the effort to track thousands of missiles launched towards Israel.
For Guardian of the Walls, we were in the middle of a training exercise and we were relocated to be on Gaza. We had very little hours of sleep. We hadn't showered in a very long time or eaten food in a very long time, only canned tuna. And it was very bonding because we always had to support one another. We always had to help lift each other up because one day one person is more tired than the other. We would take turns watching the computers and helping aim the other battalions of the artillery unit. We work together with many different units that help neutralize whatever threats are coming into Israel. So we were in charge of locating those threats. Knowing I was saving lives was something that I never thought I would imagine ever. I don't even think it was something that I was able to process in the moment. In the moment there was so much happening and we were doing so many different things that you don't even realize. And then you take a step back and it's just wow.
Wow, that looks incredibly challenging and demanding. So Eden, how does it feel to have that kind of responsibility, the work that you do?
Well, I can say that in my training, I definitely had a moment where I said to my commander, how is it possible that they're trusting us? I'm 18 years old. This doesn't make sense. Now that I've learned it, I just understand the significance of it and the importance of what we're doing. And it's an honor to be able to do it.
And you were involved in Operation Guardian of the Walls. Can you tell us what that was like? And now, about a year out, how does it feel?
So then it was crazy. I was still relatively new to the Army. I had just finished my training. We were actually in the middle of a training exercise, and we got relocated to help with the operation. It was a lot of new information that I had to put to use right away, which was not expected, but it was a learning experience.
And what does it feel like to win this award, to be chosen by your commanders, nominated by them to receive the President's Excellence Award?
So at first I didn't understand the significance of it until I started telling my peers about it, and then I understood by the reaction that I was getting. I think it's an honor to get the reward. It's interesting to see that I'm getting it because I see so many soldiers every day that I think are very deserving of the award as well.
Now, Eden, I know you have a unique job in the Artillery Corps. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
So what we do is we have a radar that detects incoming threats to Israel and outgoing artillery from our forces. So what we can do is we can neutralize the ongoing threats of rockets that are coming in to protect the citizens.
Bianca, I want to ask you, is there one memory or experience you have from your service that stands out above the others?
In my basic training, we were doing field work and I was having maybe I think the worst day ever. And I cried in front of a lot of commanders, but my personal commander, she took me aside and she sat down and she spoke to me for maybe hours at a time until I calmed down. And that support is just something that's very, very special and you remember it throughout your entire service.
Sergeant Yu Zhang, one last question for you. What message do you have for fellow soldiers and also for the people of Israel on this Yom HaAtzmaut, Independence Day?
I want to tell everyone to find the best in every situation and also to remember that our job is important no matter how hard it is.
Well, I can say that everyone here at FIDF Live is very proud of all three of you, but we're not the only ones. There are a few other people who would like to give you a special message, so we're going to see and listen to that special message.
Bianca, congratulations, my beautiful daughter. With a lot of laughter and with a lot of tears, you are receiving this reward today that I know in my heart you truly deserve. Thank you for making us proud and standing strong for who you are and for what you believe in. Love you.
Hi, Yujong, my daughter. You get the prize of president. Wow, it's very wonderful. I am so happy to you receive the prize of president. When you go to the Israel army, it's very difficult because you are Korean woman. If you was in the Korea, you don't need to go to the army, but you choose to go to Israel army. Eventually, you receive the prize president. So you are very lucky to choose the Israel army. So I'm so happy and congratulations. I love you, Yujong.
Right, Yujong, this is really surprising to me and to our family. So as a Korean, you are excellent in Israel army because you are love Israel and our family love Israel. Especially this year is Israel and Korea 60th anniversary, the diplomatic relationship. So last week, the President Yitzhak Herzog and the President Moon Jae-in, they are exchanged to commemorate our relationship. So you are signal and you are really potential in future our two countries. Really, thank you and congratulations.
I love you.
I love you.
유정 사랑해.
אהובה שלנו, אנחנו כל כך גאים בך וכל כך מתרגשים. חבל שאנחנו לא שם איתך, אבל אנחנו איתך תמיד בלב. תמיד ידענו שעשינו משהו נכון, כי קיבלנו אותך בתור בת. ואין מתנה יותר טובה מזה. אז אוהבים אותך, שולחים לך המון נשיקות. תמשיכי בדרכך, עלי ותצליחי. אמא ואבא.
אני שונאת סרטונים כאלה.
Well, your parents are clearly very, very proud, and not just proud, but enthusiastically proud of you, and we are too. Thank you so much, Eden, Yu Zhang, and Bianca. It means a great deal to us that you came today so that we can get a glimpse of what our soldiers do for us and for all of Israel. Mamash, mamash, toda rabah to each and every one of you. Back to some singing and celebrating. Welcome back, the IDF Ensemble.
והבנות, מה עם הבנות? חפש בישראל הן הכי יפות. והבנים, מה עם הבנים? כולם צבע שוקו, וואלה איזה שזופים. כמה מסיבות, קופצים ברחבות. מתה על השמש אבל חם לי ברמות. יאללה, קומו, תעשו שכולם יזוזו. יאללה, קומו, תעשו שכולם יזוזו.
לפנים, תרימו לחיים, אז באנו לעשות לכם
משגעת, היא תסובב אותך, סובב אותך, סובב, היא תעקוץ כל גבר שאליה יתקרב. היא תסובב אותך, סובב אותך, סובב, היא תעקוץ כל גבר שאליה יתקרב.
מי שיכיר אותה, איתה צריך טיפה, מי שיפסיד לה זה גורל אחינו, ויש לה יופי, לא תרחם על כל מה שרק אני צריך זה רק מזל, 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 מזל.
מזל, מזל. מזל, מזל.
היום אני הולכת להשתגע, היום נצעק חזק ברחובות, נכון, תגיד לי, כי אין אחד שלא יודע, בינינו זה היה חייב לקרות.
והלילה, איזה לילה, כולם עולים למעלה בקצב אחד, קרוב, קרוב, קרוב. איזה לילה, כולם עולים למעלה, תרימו את היד, קרוב, קרוב, קרוב.
איזה לילה מחכה לי, כמה טוב זה עושה לי, כל הבום בום טקה בום בום, כל הבום בום טקה בום בום. עוז עד השמיים, טברנה על שפת המים, עם הבום בום טקה בום בום, תן לי בום בום טקה בום בום, יאסו.
איך שהבוזוקי נותן דן צ'יקי דן, צ'יקי דן, סוחב את הדרבוקות על הגב כשמדן, רוקדת יווני אבל אחי היא מכאן, שילוב מסוכן.
מסוכן זה עדיף, כזאת שאם תשים על הלשון זה חריף, שבא לך לאכול כל היום כמו חטיף, עלה לו קצת האף, לי עלה הסעיף, ואין לי תחליף.
איזה לילה מחכה לי, כמה טוב זה עושה לי, כל הבום בום טקה בום בום, כל הבום בום טקה בום בום. עוזו עד השמיים, טברנה על שפת המים, עם הבום בום טקה בום בום, תן לי בום בום טקה בום בום. לא יאמן, היא אמרה לו כן, אח שלנו מתחתן, לילה לבן, כלה וחתן ויאללה בלאגן. לא יאמן, היא אמרה לו כן, אח שלנו מתחתן, לילה לבן, כלה וחתן ויאללה בלאגן.
אח שלנו מתחתן, חכה למכת אחר. אח שלנו מתחתן, הנה היא מכת אחר.
Thank you once again to the incredible IDF ensemble, and thank you to all of you at home who celebrated with us on this Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's 74th birthday. And remember, if you want to support our cause, you can always join us at FIDF.org. From Israel, I'm Joel Chasnoff saying Toda Rabah and Laila Tov.